Hi guys, this is Dan Rodriguez, and I'd like to teach you something today that could wind up saving your life, although I hope that you won't need it for that. It's a knot. Now, I'm an Eagle Scout, and if 11 years as a Boy Scout has taught me anything, it's knots and lighter fluid. So what I'm going to teach you today is called the bowline. What the bowline is a fixed loop knot, which means it is a loop, but the loop will not move. It'll stay the same size no matter how much stress you put on it. The bowline is known as the king of knots because it's so widely used, it's so useful, it's so easy to tie, it can hold a large load and then untie just as easily. So I'll show you how to tie one now. Here we have just a piece of rope, and all we do to start is make a loop in it, right? Then we take the end of our rope, mine is a little bit frayed, but that's okay, and we put it through this loop. Then, our next step is to take the end we put through and we bring it behind the other section of the rope around the tree, and now we go back through the hole, back through the same hole we just pulled it through. And then we pull to tighten it, and there it is. Here's your loop. It's a fixed loop, it won't move, it won't change, it won't come undone. And then, when we need to untie it, we just pull this back through, and we're done. And that's that. So there are very many implications to this knot, applications for this knot. And the one that I've used most often as a Boy Scout, more frequently than the square knot, is when you camp outside in the area where you know there are bears, raccoons. It's kind of a dangerous thing to have food sitting around your campsite. So what I have done, and what park rangers, whoever, will tell you to do, is to tie a cooler up in a tree so that nothing can get to it. And the way that we do that is with a bowline, because it won't come undone, and the rope will not change lengths, which is very important, because if it does either of those things, now we have bears in our campsite. So I don't have a cooler here. What I do have is a propane tank that I've tied to this tree, and then I'll just pull the other end of the rope over a branch. And now all we have to do is anchor it to the ground somehow. Tie it to the same tree that you strung it up in, tie it to a rock, tie it to a car, tie it to whatever you know will be there, and it'll be there in the morning. Climbers use this knot. Outdoor climbers use it to secure themselves to boulders, to trees, any fixed point that they might want. Indoor climbers will use this to secure harnesses to the top of the wall. I don't have anything to climb or a harness, so I can't show you that now, but know that it is useful for that. Boaters might know this knot because it's very often used to string up a boat to a dock, because it'll come out easily, it ties easily, and it's very, very strong. Now, the most important use of this knot, I believe, is in water rescues. Water rescues, crevice rescues, whatever you might need it for. And the way that it's used there, I'm sure you've seen, is it's tied around the victim, so that they can be hauled up. And you'll see that no matter how much weight I put on this knot, it won't change and it won't come out. So there are plenty of much less intense uses for this knot just around the house that I've found to help with. For instance, I've used this knot to make lanyards. I've used it to hang stuff up in my room. It's cheaper than shelves. I've used it as a closet bar to hang clothes from because it doesn't sag. Farmers use this knot from time to time to tie their animals up because they can't choke themselves with it. And that's the bowline. So I would encourage you just to tie this around the house and see where it comes in handy, because I can promise you it will. And I'd encourage you to find ways to make it useful for yourself. And I hope that this knot can be as useful to you as it was for me. Thanks.